Shivani Mataji, hope you check the post.
Sorry, Mataji.
Hope you have checked the poster, Mataji. Please check the poster one.
Today hosting welcoming Sava Shivani Mataji. Are
Sorry,
you welcome?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. It's Wednesday, right? Okay.
Okay. Shivani Mataji, today's speaker is Her Grace Madhurya Gaurangi Mataji.
Yes.
You can check for the verses. Okay.
Yes, I have. Thank you. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। समस्त वैष्णववृंद की जय। नामाचार्य दास ठाकुर जी की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Good morning, dear devotees. I welcome you all to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call for this mid-morning session. Thank you all for joining. Please forgive me for stopping and static chanting. This is Shivani from Master Virginia. Let us move to the next part of the session. Today's class will be given by Her Grace Gaurangi Devi Mataji on Shri Caitanya Bhagavata Madhya Khanda 26.1 to verse 14. May I know who all have joined this morning?
Hare Krishna Shivani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada, this is Preeti Vilasini Devi Dasi from Atlanta. Thank you, Shivani Mataji, for your warm welcoming. And thank you, Anjana Gopika Mataji, for the very beautiful recitation of Bhagavad Gita.
Hare Krishna Preeti Vilasini Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a beautiful association. All glories to your services, Mataji. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna Neetu Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a beautiful association on regular basis. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Shivani Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas. And thank you, Shivani Mataji, for welcoming. And thank you, Anjana Gopika Mataji, for beautiful recitation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a beautiful association. All glories to your services, Mataji. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Go ahead, Mataji. Hare Krishna Shivani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashmati Priya Devidasi from Chicago. And thank you very much, Anjana Gopika Mataji, for beautiful recitation of Bhagavad Gita. And thank you, Shivani Mataji, for warm welcoming.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Yashamati Mataji, thank you for joining and giving a beautiful association every single day. So happy to have you on the call. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to your services, Mata. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Shivani Mataji, this is Anjana from Nepal.
Hare Krishna Anjana Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a beautiful association. And thank you for the beautiful Bhagavad Gita recitation. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Once again, I welcome you all for this mid-morning session. I would like to start by sharing a quote by Srila Prabhupada ji. Chanakya Pandit says that there is no comparison between a rich man and a learned man. They are different categories. A rich man, a king, may be very respectable in his own country amongst his own men, but a learned scholar is respected all over the world. If one is respected all over the world, and if one is respected in his own village, how there can be any comparison? Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Madhurya Gaurangi Mataji. Mataji will be enlightening us on the Shri Caitanya Bhagavata Madhya Khanda 26.1 to verse 14. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Madhurya Gaurangi Mataji, thank you so much for giving your valuable time and association this morning. Very happy to have you on the call. Very eagerly to hear from you, Mataji. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. I now hand over the call to you. Please take over. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vanchakaupatrubhyascha kripasindhubhyaeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Pashyatya Dashitarine. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We'll start today with Caitanya Bhagavata, 26th chapter. Shall we read an introduction also, a summary? Or we go straight to verses?
I think we can do straight verses, but if you would like to summarize, that's fine too, Mataji. I mean, we are open to either way, whatever works for you.
Yeah. So I think usually when we read the book, we read also that summary. So then
Yeah, that will help. Yeah, you can cover the summary.
do it. Okay. So then I am. Okay, let me just try to open. Or actually, I lost that whole thing. I'll have to quickly find. Sorry for that.
No problem,
Yes.
Mat. Take your time.
Yes, yes. So you've been on the meeting already before 8:30. So what are you doing then?
We, whoever wants to complete their balance rounds, they come and complete the rounds. Usually they chant in the morning, but mid-morning is a time when Matajis who have some pending rounds come and finish their rounds. And then we have Bhagavad Gita recital. We chant a chapter a month. So this month is 4th chapter. So we take turns and one volunteer chants an entire chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And then we have a welcoming session and then we hand over to the speaker. So this is the schedule.
So you have a full engagement.
Yes. And before this, there's a Bhagavatam class, 3 hours before the Chaitanya Bhagavat class. And that is preceded by chanting session. So there's a chanting session followed by Shikshashtakam. The offenses to the holy names recital, etc. And then we have a Bhagavatam class. Then we take a break and we come back for those who want to finish pending rounds, and then recital of Bhagavad Gita and then Chaitanya Bhagavat. That's the morning program, Mataji.
Wonderful. So this is your almost 24 hours.
Oh yeah. And then
engagement.
evening, we have kids programs where different age group children, they come and learn. Yeah.
Okay, yes, because now it's morning for you.
Yes.
For us, dark evening. It's almost bedtime.
Very good.
Okay, so I think I'm finding it, what I was looking for. Yes, so we will read now the summary of the chapter. One second. I am opening. Yes, it is here. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakaupatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So chapter 26, descriptions of the mercy bestowed on Shuklambara and Vijay, and the Lord's desire to accept sannyas. This chapter describes Shriman Mahaprabhu's acceptance of rice at the house of Shuklambara Brahmachari, the Lord's display of his opulence to the professional writer Vijay Das by placing his hand on Vijay's body. The Lord displayed an incarnation like Matsya and Kurma. A student's criticism of the Lord when he chanted Gopi, Gopi, in the mood of a gopi, the Lord attempts to beat that student with a stick. The Lord's narration to his associates of a riddle that revealed his desire to take sannyas. The Lord's private discussion with Srimat Nityananda Prabhu. The Lord's announcement to Mukunda and Gadadhar of his desire to take sannyas and devotees' distress. One day, when Sriman Mahaprabhu expressed his desire to accept lunch from Shuklambara Brahmachari, Shuklambara discouraged the Lord in various ways, thinking that Mahaprabhu's request was simply a hoax. But on hearing the Lord's repeated requests, Shuklambara asked the devotees about the procedure for feeding the Lord. The devotees praised Shuklambara's good fortune and instructed him to cook without touching the foods. After completing his bath, Shuklambara placed After completing his bath, Shuklambara placed without touching ingredients like rice and banana stems in a pot of boiling water, and then chanted the names of Lord Hari. Lakshmi Devi then cast her merciful glance on the devotee's rice. The Lord came with his associates to Shuklambara's house and personally offered the rice preparations to Lord Vishnu. He then sat down to eat and praised the good taste of that preparation. On seeing Lord's mercy on Shuklambara, the devotees began to shed tears of love. When the Lord finished the meal, the devotees picked up his plate of remnants. After holding a short Ishtagosti or spiritual discussion, Shri Gaurasundara laid down there. The devotees also followed the Lord's example. While everyone was lying down, Mahaprabhu placed his hand on a professional writer Vijay Das's body. On seeing the wonderful opulences of Mahaprabhu, Vijay Das was about to loudly cry out when Mahaprabhu checked him with a gesture of a finger. So he did like this to Vijay. Vijay Das then roared and fell unconscious. The devotees could understand the confidential reason behind this, but the Lord told them that it was because of either the influence of the Ganges or Lord Vishnu. Vijay remained practically inert for 7 days. During his pastimes in Navadvip, Mahaprabhu would, according to his mood, manifest the eternal transcendental forms of various incarnations, like Matsya and Kurma, and then withdraw them. But he retained his mood as Balaram for many days. When being intoxicated in the mood of Balaram, Gauranga asked for Varuni. Then realizing the intention of Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is non different from Baladev, would place a pot of Ganges water before him. The 3 worlds trembled on hearing the Lord's loud roars, and the earth shook by his wild dancing. When the devotees fearfully offered prayers glorifying Baladev, the Lord became pleased and lost consciousness. When Mahaprabhu one day became absorbed in the mood of a gopi and chanted Gopi, Gopi, a student with no understanding of his internal mood began to criticize his behavior. The Lord then took a stick in his hand and prepared to beat him. The student ran away in fear of his life, And when he told his friends about the Lord's actions, they committed offenses at the feet of Mahaprabhu by considering the Lord an ordinary human being and by conspiring to retaliate against him. As a super soul, Mahaprabhu understood this, and he then informed all associates through a riddle about his intention to accept sannyas. No one other than Nityananda Prabhu could understand that meaning. He became aggrieved on thinking that the Lord's beautiful hair would be lost. Sriman Mahaprabhu called Nityananda to a solitary place and explained to him the reason why he was going to take sannyas. He had incarnated to deliver the fallen souls of the world, but people were not being delivered by his darshan because they were committing offenses at his lotus feet. If he took sannyas and became a beggar at their door, then by seeing a sannyasi, they would touch his feet while offering obeisances. Then only would their offenses be vanquished, and they would attain devotional service at the feet of Sri Gauranga. Srila Nityananda Prabhu did not say anything to oppose Mahaprabhu's intention, but he requested the Lord to reveal his intention to devotees. He then became inert, and while thinking about how Sachimata would suffer in separation from the Lord. One day, Sri Gaurahari went to the house of Mukunda, and when the Lord ordered Mukunda to sing the glories of Krishna, Mukunda began to perform kirtan. On hearing that kirtan, the Lord became overwhelmed in ecstasy. He checked his emotions, however, and then disclosed his desire to Mukunda. As soon as Mukunda heard the Lord's intention, he became distressed and requested the Lord to wait for some days. Thereafter, when Sri Gaurasundara went to the house of Gadadhar and disclosed his intention, Gadadhar felt like he had been struck by a thunderbolt. He attempted to stop the Lord from taking sannyas by speaking authoritatively in various ways to the Lord. The Lord revealed his intention to various other devotees, and everyone merged in an ocean of distress while thinking about the disappearance of Lord's hair. Jaya Jaya Jagatamandala Mangala Gaura Chandra Dana Deha Hridaya Tomara Padadvandva. All glories to Gaura Chandra, the benefactor of the Lord. Please place your lotus feet within my heart. So that was a very beautiful summary of a chapter. We almost seem we dived in the ocean, and we want to hear all these beautiful pastimes, which you will definitely do through all your wonderful sessions. So today we will start the chapter from text 1, and we will continue until text 14. So text 1. Ekadina Shuklambara Brahmachari Stane Kripaya Tahanayana Magila Pane. One day, Lord mercifully asked Shuklambara Brahmachari for some rice. Sorry, just one question. We're going till 9:30. What is the time we have to stop? What time class ends?
It's 1 hour class, Mataji.
1 hour. Okay. Yes. So Ekadina, one day, Shuklambara Brahmachari Stane, in a place, it is described that he had a house. So maybe it was not a house like a big house, but the place where he stayed, because here it's mentioned Stane. So Kripaya Tahane Anna Magila Apane. So this word Magila means begged, or it can also mean requested or asked. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu begged, asked, or requested Shuklambara Brahmachari for some rice. And here in translation is mentioned asked, but this Magila in different forms. Magila in different forms appears in different places in our sacred texts, and it shows that it is not just asking, it is actually, it's a stronger word, it's like requesting or begging. Like we have one beautiful song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he also mentions, he sings here about his aspiration, and he says, Svapacha grihete magia kaibo, pibo saraswati jal. Yeah, so he says, when will happen to me that I will go and beg to the door, to the doors of people, even swapacha, which means dog eater, or chandala, on the houses of chandalas, and magia kaibo. I will beg for food there, and I will pibo saraswati jal. I will drink the water from the Saraswati river. So this begging is actually very sacred act, and later we will see that Shuklambara Brahmachari was worried to touch the rice to give to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this is, there is indeed such a injunction that anything touched by a hand, it is considered the contaminated thing, and something untouched is more pure than touched. That's why sometimes in India you can also, when you buy some product, it is written on a packet, untouched by human hand. Yeah, so I don't know how many rats hands or cockroach hands touched that product in the factories, but at least it's for sure not touched by a human hand. Yes, so of course it is nowadays is different situation in this Kali Yuga. Who touches that product before you buy it, we don't know. But the point is that that according to the Smarta Vidhi, is that untouched product is more pure than touched. So therefore, it is said that because the Smarta Vidhis are mostly meant for householders, because they have different rules what they have to follow. So it is they don't accept such a food which been touched by, for example, a beggar. But at the same time, from the Paramahamsa point of view, who lives like this on a Madhukari, and not just that, in general, the baked food is considered pure in any condition, because it is seen as the Lord's mercy. So Lord's mercy is pure. Therefore, that Madhukari is the topmost pure product you can receive. And it is very interesting, like there are some sadhus who live like this on Madhukari, and they really honor that that whatever is given to them as something sacred. And I did one time, I stayed for some time in Radha Kunda. I had to write some essay, some work, and I needed some space around me. So I went to Radha Kunda and I stayed in one room there, and I just was writing. And then I visited Jiva Goswami's Bhajan Kutir, and there were some sadhus sitting there and honoring prasadam, and they just Jiva Goswami's prasadam, and I was observing their behavior, and they all just finished the meal. They had a very nice prasad, a lot of rice and 3-4 varieties of sabji and dal, and it was summer, so there were mangoes, and they were having yogurt, and so much big meal. And then everything was finished. They all finished their that meal, And suddenly one very young, effulgent sadhu came with a bag, and he just said one word, Madhukari. So basically what he did in that bag was there all the items which he had received from Madhukari. So he had a full bag, a lot in it. And he came and he wanted to share with other sadhus what he had got. And everybody, and what he had got, there were some raw items like raw rice and things, but there were also some cooked items, already cooked, that he had got, chapatis and so many things. So then all these sadhus who had eaten that wonderful, wonderful feast, we can say, of Jiva Goswami's Mahaprasad, they all jumped up and they all wanted to receive that Madhukari dry rotis, we can say. And that time I was wondering why is it this Madhukari so special, that even they were not hungry, they weren't taking it out of hunger, but they were just wanting to receive that Madhukari from that young boy. And I was contemplating about this, and then I got this song, which I just read, this verse, that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, it is like his aspiration, when I will beg, even from the door of a house, from the door of a chandala. So I could not understand it for a long time I was contemplating, but now I understood after reading, especially here, this pastime, is that because that Madhukari, what's received in Madhukari, that from begging, is because it has come by Krishna's mercy, it is pure. It is actually purest than the pure. So that's why all these sadhus were also running to accept even a bit of some crumb of that pure thing. So here again, you can see that Mahaprabhu, he also he begs from Shuklambara Brahmachari to eat something he has cooked. And here it is mentioned, he kindly asked, but as we read it in a summary, that actually Shuklambara Brahmachari had denied it in the beginning, but actually Mahaprabhu insisted, he asked again and again and again. So that time, Shuklambara Brahmachari complied and he agreed. Text 2. Tora na khaite amara ichabara, kichubaya na karila balila na dhara. Yeah, so he said, here again, Mahaprabhu is requesting. He said, I have a strong desire, yeah, ichabara, I have very great desire to eat your rice. Tora anna khaite amara, I want to eat your rice, so do not fear. It is a sincere request. I am not teasing you, or I'm not joking. Kichu bayana, don't be scared. Ei mata Mahaprabhu bale bara bara, shuni shuklambara kaku karena para. When Mahaprabhu made repeated requests in this way, Shuklambara emotionally pleaded with the Lord. So you can see that Shuklambara was denying, but Mahaprabhu was insisting, no, please, I want to eat your cooking. I want to eat your cooking. So we can see actually what kind of relationship Mahaprabhu and Shuklambara Brahmachari had, that he was actually so sincerely and with such determination begging from his devotee, please give me, please cook for me. So here in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we can read a little bit about the Shuklambara Brahmachari's personality, that it is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. I forgot which part, but it is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first companion in Sankirtan movement was actually Shuklambara Brahmachari. It is Srila Prabhupada writing in one of his purports that Shuklambara Brahmachari was Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first companion in the Sankirtan movement. When Lord Chaitanya returned to Gaya after initiation, he stayed with Shuklambara Brahmachari because he wanted to hear from this devotee the pastimes about Lord Krishna. Yeah, so we can see how he wanted to hear from Ramaranda Roy, but also he wanted to hear from Shuklambara Brahmachari, especially about Krishna, the Leela, Krishna Leela. So he stayed with him. And Shuklambara Brahmachari collected alms of rice from inhabitants of Vrindavan. So you see, Shuklambara Brahmachari was living by begging. He was receiving his food grains, his anna, by begging from inhabitants of Navadvip. Yeah, so he was doing that madhukari and he was receiving these pure rice grains. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took pleasure in eating the rice that he cooked. It is said that Shuklambara Brahmachari was one of the wives of the Yajnik Brahmanas during the time of Lord Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. And Lord Krishna also begged food from those wives of the Yajnik Brahmanas. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed similar pastime by begging rice from Shuklambara Brahmachari. So here we can see a connection that this is their eternal relationship, how Lord begs the food from his dear associate, from his dear devotee. Vikshuka damamui papishta garita, tumi dharma sanatana mui se papita. So, yeah, so here in the previous verse it was said that Shuklambara emotionally pleaded with Lord. So now these emotions are here expressed. He says, I am most sinful, wretched beggar, and you are the personification of eternal religious principles which I have fallen from. So this is what Shuklambara Brahmachari is saying. And he uses here three words to describe himself: Adama, Patita, and Papi. Yeah, Papishta. Ishta is like most. Yeah, it indicates of most, not just sinful, most sinful. So three words: Adama, Patita, and Papishta. So this is words which usually great saintly persons are using for describing themselves. This is their genuine feeling. The same way Rupa and Sanatana, they also approached Mahaprabhu and they said, Jagai madai haite koti koti guna, adama patita pape ami duijana. Yeah, so ami duijana, we too. He says, Sanatana and Rupa, we too are very fallen. Adama, degraded. Patita, fallen. And papi, sinful. So the same three words they are using. They say Jaga and Mada hoite koti koti guna. Jaga and Mada, a million of nice qualities. But we are Adama, Patita, and Papi. So from here, we can see that this is how everyone should think about themselves. But usually we try to have a tendency to defend ourselves and say, yes, but I am not like that. And that person shouted on me, or that person chastised me, or that person did this to me. But if we embrace the mood of our acharyas, what we're supposed to do, because that's what's written in Nectar of Instruction, that the 6 favorable activities are for a devotee is to follow the footsteps of acharyas. So here they are telling us how we should see ourselves, and we should not just externally do it. Of course, even externally, we have to start from somewhere. Like we say, first you fake it, then you make it. But we should not just be faking, we should actually eventually also be making. So The same also, yeah, so that's what they are talking about themselves. They think they don't think, they actually feel low. Yes. And we also hear in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishnana, that we have to be more lower than a grass, tolerant than a tree. So it is not just their own sentiment that they feel like this, it is actual instruction from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So text 5 is More kota dive prabhu charane rachaya, kita tulya nahan more eta bara, maya kira. Kira tulya nahan mere more eta bara maya. Oh Lord, you should give me the shelter at your lotus feet. Although I'm not even equal to an insect, you are trying to deceive me. So he's saying, he's calling himself Kira. Kira means, here it is an insect. Sometimes it's translated a worm. Like also in Chaitanya Charitamrita we read, from Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He's writing again, he's comparing himself about with the Jagai and Mada. Ya Jagai Mada haite mui se papishta, puri sera kira haite mui se lagishta. Again he used the same word kira. We're saying that I am more sinful than Jagai and Madai, and I am even lower than a worm in a stool. And here we can analyze a little bit that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that lower than a straw on a street, lower than a grass. So what is under the grass? Under the grass, all kiras are living. Yes, all the insects, all the worms are there. So according to Lord's instruction, this is where we should think ourselves to belonging. Yes. So the same also Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains more. What is worm in a stool? What does it really mean? It's not, we need to understand why this worm in a stool, why this analogy is given, why this comparison is given. And here in Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya-lila, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is calling the parents and the elders of Raghunath Das Goswami also worms in a stool. Tomara bapa jeta vishaya vishtagarte rakira sukakari mane vishaya vishera mahapira. Yeah. So here we will understand what exactly means, what is meant by that worm in a stool or insect. Yes. So the translation is that, my dear Raghunath Das, your father and his elder brother are just like worms in a stool, in the ditch of material enjoyment. For the great disease of the poison of material enjoyment is what they consider happiness. So here we can understand that this worm in a stool is meant, but what is meant by this worm in a stool is that that stool is inside the ditch of material enjoyment. And usually stool is not something healthy. Often, I'm sure someone will try any kind of stool like this, they will get some food poisoning or something, you know, when someone is decomposed or something to eat. That's why it is said here that the great disease of the poison of material enjoyment is what they consider a happiness. So we can see of ourselves, as much as we consider material enjoyment a happiness, to that degree, we are also sitting in that stool in a ditch of material enjoyment as a worm or as an insect. And as much as we are away from this material enjoyment, and we are actually enjoying Krishna's, we feeling Krishna's enjoyment, that time we should be considered away from the stool. But as the greater Vaishnava, the farther Vaishnava advances, the more they will see themselves as material enjoyers. And why is that? Because they become more and more sensitive and more subtle in their perception. Like sometimes we give this famous analogy, like about if you have a black muddy clothes and you just get one more splash of mud, no one will notice much difference. But when you have a very beautiful white dress and spotless, that even one little drop of mud will be catching your eyes. So the same, because of these great Vaishnavas who are also not just they are somewhere described in the books, it is also all for us, because it is reality. So when they become more and more dressed into that white, pure garments, so anything little, they will feel that it is they are like a great enjoyers. Like even we hear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calls himself have no love of God at all, no love of God, because if I had love of God, I would not be even living otherwise. But what I am doing, I am still eating. I am still eating. For what reason? Why am I eating? Just to maintain this body, which is worse like an insect. So have we ever, any one of us thought that this eating is a useless thing? Why do we eat? To maintain this body. What is the use of it? Yes, but for us, it seems, I cannot say for us, I don't know anyone who is here and how they are thinking, please forgive me. But for me, I am not even thinking that I'm eating to maintain this body. It is some kind of a material concept of life. Yes, but actually, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches that it is. So I should be actually crying day and night. Why am I so materialistic that I still endeavor at all to do something for this body? I should have been just thinking of Lord Sri Krishna and how to serve him. So this is what means kira, the insect in a stool. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, when a man is attached to material enjoyment, he is attached to many miserable conditions. Like a stool is a very miserable condition, yes? So very miserable conditions, but nevertheless, he accepts his condemned position as one of happiness. Sense enjoyment is so strong for such a person that he cannot give it up, exactly as worm in a stool cannot give up the stool. From the spiritual point of view, when a person is too absorbed in material enjoyment, he is exactly like a worm in a stool. Although such a position is utterly miserable to the eyes of liberated souls, the materialistic enjoyer is greatly attached to it. So text 6. Prabhu bale maya hena nava sihamane baraicha vase mora tomare randane. Yeah, again Lord here mentions baraicha. It is my great desire, tomare randane, your cooking. Yes, I do not consider this a deception, for I have a strong desire to taste your cooking, he says. Satvare naivedya giya karaha vasaya Ajyami Madhya Jaiba Sarvataya. Go home and quickly prepare an offering for the Lord. I will surely come at midday. Tata piha shuklambara baya paimane yukti jigyasilena sakala bhaktastane. Still Shuklambara was in anxiety, so he asked all the devotees what he should do. So here is very interesting point. He was confused. He was in anxiety. So what he did, he asked devotees. And this is what Nectar of Instruction describes as one of the six principles, one of the six items that makes the devotion grow. Yeah, utsahan nishchayat dhairyat tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat satovrite sadbir bhaktir prasiddhati. Yeah, so sangatyagat, we should give up the association of non-devotees, but at the same time we should associate with devotees. So this is about Sangha, and Satovrite means to follow the footsteps of the previous acharyas. And for devotees, with devotees, we can find out how to follow it. And Srila Prabhupada writes that in his service, that this is what ISKCON is created for, that we can follow the footsteps of acharyas in association with devotees. And in that way, all our confusions and anxieties are cleared. We just need to be good followers. That is the tip. So Srila Prabhupada writes, devotional service means transcendental activities. On the other platform, there is no contamination. On the transcendental platform, there is no contamination by the three modes of material nature. So what it means that when we do devotional service, we are on transcendental platform. So this is called Vishuddha Sattva, the platform of pure goodness, or goodness free from contamination by the qualities of passion and ignorance. So if we are engaged in transcendental devotional service, there is no rajas and there is no tamas. So naturally goodness becomes pure, and it is called Vishuddha Sattva. In this Krishna consciousness movement, we require everyone to rise early in the morning by 4 o'clock. So our transcendental activity starts 4 o'clock in the morning. Then attend Mangalarti or morning worship. Then read Srimad Bhagavatam like you do. Yes. Perform Kirtan and so forth. Thus, we hold continuous activities in devotional service 24 hours daily. So Srila Prabhupada has created all this to keep us 24 hours daily on a transcendental platform. So all this what was described just now, Prabhupada says this is called Sato Vritti, or following the footsteps of previous acharyas, who expertly filled every moment of time with Krishna consciousness. So here we can see that he consulted devotees, he consulted sadhus. So therefore, we have this Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, where we have to refer to. And Sadhu is described very nicely in Srimad Bhagavatam. Nehayat karma dharmaya na viragaya kalpate na tirtha pada sevaya jivanapi mrito hisaham. Anyone whose work is not meant for elevating him to religious life. So anything we do, it should elevate us to a religious life. And then what religious life should be doing? Anyone whose ritualistic performance do not raise him to renunciation. Yeah. So the religious life is not just the goal. You have to become renounced. So, and then what about renunciation? Is that the goal? Then anyone who is situated in renunciation, if that does not lead him to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that kind of person must be considered dead, although he is breathing. Yes. So this is sadhu, one who is engaged in devotional service. So, and here is described, this explained. The conclusion is that all pious activities, all fruitive activities, religious principles, renunciation must ultimately lead to devotional service. And there are different types of processes for rendering service. So now Prabhupada lists different type of ways how can a person serve. One may serve country, can serve people, one can serve society, one can serve Varna Ashrama Dharma system, one can serve the sick, one can serve the poor, one can serve the rich, can serve the women, one can serve the demigods, and so on. But all these services, everyone remembers the list? The country, the people, the society, the Varnashrama Dharma, sick, poor, rich, women, demigods, all this come under the heading of sense gratification or enjoyment in material world. It is most unfortunate that people are more or less attracted by such material activity, and that the leaders of these activities are accepted as Mahajans, great ideal leaders. But actually, they are only misleaders, and the ordinary man cannot understand how they are being misled. Yeah. So this is described, which is not a sadhu. So Shuklambara Brahmachari, he did not approach these misleaders. He actually approached devotees who are the leaders. So what did they tell him? They said, Sabe balilena tumi kene karabaya paramartha ishvarera keha binnanaya. Why are you afraid? He's saying, why are you afraid? From the spiritual point of view, no one is separate from the Supreme Lord. Yes, so here we can see one very famous Bhagavad Gita shloka they are quoting. No one is ever separate from Lord. Mama evam so jivaloke jiva bhuta sanatanaha mama sastani indriyani prakriti stani karsati. All the living entities are in this conditional world are my eternal parts and parcels. But due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with six senses, which includes the mind. And mind is creating all anxiety. Mind is creating our separation, our how you call it, difference from the being connected with Krishna. Yes. So all the expansions, all the living entities are servitors of Krishna. So then they explain more why Lord is asking from Shuklambara Brahmachari. They say, Visheshe janatane sarva bhave bhaje sarva kalatanana apanei konje. He always begs food, especially from those who worship him with unflinching devotion. Yes. So he says, don't worry. Why are you worried? It is the Lord. He always begs food, he says. He always begs food. He always begs food from whom? He begs food from those who worship him with unflinching devotion. And it's even explained about Shuklambara Brahmachari that the Lord, what to speak of now, he's asking him to cook. But the Lord, when Shuklambara Brahmachari is doing his rounds of Navadvi Madhukari, and he was begging his rice, then at one point he met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sitting, and he became so ecstatic and he started to dance and dance. And then Mahaprabhu came, and with his hand he entered his bag and he took out his rice, his begged raw rice. And that raw uncooked rice he only was eating from Shuklambara Brahmachari. Yes. So what to speak of now? This beautiful cooked food by his unflinching devotee. So it is his habit. It is his, that's what he is. He always begs, yes. And next verse also says, he gives an example. Apana shudrara putra vidure rastane, anna magi kailena bhaktira karane. Although Vidura was the son of Shudra, because of his devotional service, the Lord personally begged food from him and ate. For a description of so then Bhakti Saraswati writes, for a description of the Lord begging rice from Vidura, see Mahabharata, Udyoga Parva, chapter 90. Yes, so whoever would like to read that, you can go to chapter 90 of Udyoga Parva of Mahabharata. Yes, so they say Bhaktastana Magikaya Prabhura Svabhava Dehagiya Tumibara Karyanuraga. He said, it is nature of the Lord to beg food from devotees. Yes, it is interesting. It is said it is his nature. So nature means it's something you cannot take away. So the Lord's nature is to beg food from devotees and eat it. Just go and offer him lunch with great devotion. Yes, so they first said, don't worry, even with you think yourself very low, but don't worry, even Vidura from external point was very low. He was the son of a Shudra. So, but even from him, Lord begged. So now Lord also begging from you. So we should also remember that Shuklambara Brahmachari was so dear to Lord that actually he's considered like Shaktivesh avatar. The Lord actually entered him. Lord entered his body, and in that way he also was preaching Krishna consciousness through Shuklambara Brahmachari's body. So here we can see that it's the nature of the Lord to beg from the devotees. So we can see now example of Vidura was given. So what other examples we see where Lord had begged from someone to cook for him or to feed him? So if any of you have any quick suggestions from who else Lord was begging food?
The Lord begged from Sudama. Actually, he said when Sudama was hesitating to give the chip rice that he had in his cloth, the Lord asked him, "What are you hiding? Give it to me."
Yes, yes. He is, and in, like I mentioned that when he snatched the rice from Shuklambara's bag, so it is also mentioned similarly he did with Sudama. Yes. Any other, where else he has, he was either begging food or reprimanding, why are you not giving me what you are eating? Yes,
The
so
Yajna Patnis,
yes,
the
Yagya
wives of
Patnis. Yes, because and we just heard that Shuklambara Brahmachari is considered to be one of those Yagya Patnis in Krishna Leela. Yes, yes, he asked from Draupadi. Yes, and what is pasta? I don't understand.
Patra, Akshay Patra.
Yes, actually, I will tell you now. I don't have time. We have only 5 minutes left, but if we had more time, I have one Shaligram Shila, and he always demands pasta. You will believe me or not. So I think he made you, my Shaligram made you misspell to remind of him that he also begs pasta. And believe it or not, devotees from their houses bring pasta, cooked pasta. He said, I really felt I have to cook pasta and bring to your Shaligram. So he also begs pasta. Specifically. And when I go visit somebody with a Shaligram, somehow or other, that Mataji there in the house, she will cook pasta and offer. So, like that. So, yes, who else? So, there are
Kolavicha Sridhar,
Holavech Sridhar, yes. Gopis, he was breaking
Gopis.
pots and getting yogurt from Gopis.
Raghunath
Yes,
Das Goswami Mataji.
yes, Raghunath
Yes.
Das. When did he beg for Raghunath?
Lord Jagannath Prasadam, which Raghunath Das Goswami, he takes it after it becomes a little stale and he eats it. And when Mahaprabhu gets to know about
Right.
it, he
Yes,
goes there and
Mahaprabhu is saying, I just have a shloka. He said, Kana vastu kao shabe, morane deha kene, eta balika grasha, karila bakshane. He says he hears from devotees what Raghunath Das is doing, and he goes to Raghunath Das and he says, what nice things are you eating? Why are you not giving anything to me? Then he's saying this and he forcibly takes the morsel from Raghunath and begins to eat. Yes, so this is how he begs from Raghunath. And then, of course, from Sachimata, he does not beg directly like this, but we know that whenever Sachimata cooks, then he comes, he manifests himself in that place where Sachimata cooks, that he can eat. Yes, so and then one very, very wonderful instance, he also the same with Jagadananda Pandit. When Jagadananda Pandit, Jagannath Pandit, he get upset because he had brought the very nice oil from Bengal to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Orissa, and he okay, we have a storm here. So sorry, it's very noisy. I don't know if you can hear me. And so there is Jagadananda Pandit. He gets very upset that Mahaprabhu did not accept his oil, and he sorry, everything is blowing here. And then he says, I will fast. And he goes and he locks himself inside the door and he fasts. And then Mahaprabhu becomes so worried and he goes and he wants to think how I can make Jagadadanda Pandit pacified and how I can make him eat again. So then he says, in the morning he goes to him, he tells Pandit, please cook for me. I will come at noon and I will eat. Then Jagannath is very, very happy and he starts cooking. And then Mahaprabhu comes and he says, and you sit here with me now also and also eat. And then Jagadananda ate and Mahaprabhu was very happy. So, okay, so let's quickly finish because really it is very, I am sitting in a veranda. It's very stormy here. I want to finish reading our verses, but now I don't understand what happened. 1 second. I just put, because everything is flying and I lost my. 1 second. Yes, I got it. Yes, so we got a very nice list of devotees who Krishna begged food from. So text 11, Apana Shudrara, okay, that we read 11, 13. Tata piha tumi yare baya vasemane, alago chitumigia karaherandana. If you still feel fearful, then don't touch the food while you cook. The word alago derived from this purport, derived from Persian word alkse, means without touching, without contact, or keeping at a distance. So they suggest him, okay, don't worry, you cook, and if you still worry, then cook without touching. Yes. So for our last verse today, Bara Bhagya Tomara Emate Kripajare Shuni Dvija Harishaila Nijagare. You are most fortunate to receive such mercy. On hearing this, the Brahmana returned to his house. Okay. Shri Chaitanya Bhagavat ki jai, Shuklam Bara Brahmachari ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Sorry, go ahead, Mataji.
No, Mataji, I just want to say thank you and thank you so much. I really loved many of the realizations you were mentioning, especially about the story of the Radhakund.
Actually, I'm so sorry because it is very loud storm. If you want to say something,
no, nothing important.
you can write on the chat.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Madhurya Gaurangi Mataji, thank you for a very beautiful class. Thank you for starting by the beautiful summary and explaining all the verses so wonderfully in such depth. Thank you for quoting from Chaitanya Chamrita, Bhagavad Gita, and many more. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. If you have any questions or realizations, please go ahead.
I think we have to type on chat.
Okay. I would like to read the messages in the chat for you, Mataji. Devan, Mataji or Prabhuji saying Hare Krishna. Thank you for a wonderful
Krishna.
class. For a wonderful class. Vanita
Sorry, I'm
Gandharika
just trying to
Mataji.
hear.
No worries. Vanita Gandharika Mataji saying in the chat, beautiful class. Mataji, thanks a lot. And Preeti Vilasni Mataji saying, thank you so much. Wonderful class with deep realization, especially about the sensitivity of devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, once again, I would like to thank Her Grace Madhurya Gaurangi Mataji for a valuable time in association this morning and for a very beautiful class. And we look forward to your beautiful association in the near future, Mataji. I would like to pay my obeisances to Her Grace Madhurya Gaurangi Mataji and all the assembled devotees. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu evacha patita nam pavnebhyo vaishnavyo namo namah. समस्त वैष्णववृंद की जय. श्री चैतन्य भागवत की जय. Her Grace Gaurangi Devi Mata Ji ki jai.
Ki
Jai.
jai. Hare Krishna Mataji,
Hare
Dandat
Krishna
Pranam.
Mataji.
Such a
Hare
beautiful
Krishna.
class.
Hare Krishna, Mother. Thank you very much. Wonderful.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.